Hey YouTube, Yohosi, one of the devs on the Riot 2XKO team and also the combat designer, released a preview of the patch notes for the Season 1 patch for 2XKO. And there's a lot of things to go through. I know some of it because I was actually able to play this build, but some of the things in this build are actually new to me. And so we'll go through all the changes, and while it's not the complete list of changes that actually comes out January 19th, they supposedly are the biggest changes that will impact how people play this game. And I'm a little skeptical about that. I know that sounds kind of crazy, that I'm skeptical about the patch notes that the devs are releasing. But one example is this Vi example. Vi can cancel knuckle down for that charge 4, that's one, and the footwork at the cost of knuckle down being slightly lower to the ground. So what this means is that if I switch to Vi, I swear I'm getting to a point here. I can actually footwork cancel this, kind of like my medium. I can do dash cancel. So that's really cool. But I don't think this move is actually still going to be that crazy. Like, it's going to be a nice quality of life thing. It's going to give her a little more flair, a little more depth. But I don't think it actually changes too much about the character. However, in the actual Caitlyn trailer, there is another Vi change that her last stand got significantly buffed. And now her last stand OTGs, and it is like a 2-part last stand. I think that's a significant buff, and much more significant than this Vi change. This last stand buff to Vi was not listed here. So I suspect that despite this being the biggest changes, as announced by devs, right, where we'll be outlining some of our biggest changes, I think there's actually a lot more to come. But that being said, there's still a lot of good stuff here, and let's get through it. So the core gameplay change, we find projectiles lead to a lot of chaos and clear outcomes, so we're making changes to their functionality. The first change is most projectiles will be deleted when you hit the point champion. Aerial projectiles no place champs in an interrupt counter hit state, and we remove the ability to charge projectile assist when out. So what does that mean? A few things, right? So I think mainly this impacts Teemo, but it affects characters like Ahri as well. So we'll look at like some of the ways this is impacted, right? So the first biggest thing is I can no longer, this no longer exists. I can no longer do this, right? Not only can I not just like run up on you because if I get hit as a Lowy, like then the projectile goes away. The second thing is I can no longer charge, so it'll just look like this. Like I would have to like fully charge it and then release it, kind of like that, in order for you to be able to use that as assist, which is still doable, but it's not nearly as strong because like this just takes so much more time to set up, right? So I don't think that's like I think this specifically nerfs Teemo. Another character I think this actually affects is Yasuo. I didn't think about this before, but a strategy I really like is doing this and then going in. I can no longer do this because this is actually charge me. If I don't want to charge it, I just get this. And while like that's still okay, it doesn't work well against like people trying to run away, right? Like I get this and I get a sandwich. Can no longer do that, right? So this is actually a pretty big change, not to mention that it'll go away if like I get hit, and that impacts the strength of these systems a lot. The air change matters a lot too, because for a lot of characters, getting an air counter hit is actually a pretty big deal. So for example, if I put Ahri on counter hit always, and I put Lowy here, I can actually get a combo, right? If I like happen to counter hit Ahri out of the air. Nothing crazy, right? But you know, 358, I get good corner carry. Compare that to non-counter hit, I get like half the damage, not nearly as much corner carry. So it's actually like a pretty big change, and changes the risk reward of a lot of like air fireball options, like for example this like air S1, right? All right, so the next change is hitting assist doesn't have much meaning, and it'll make it so there's a 4-second cooldown on hitting the assist. So what this looks like is like if I call Ahri like this, or I call Lowy like this, right now if I hit it, it's a 2-second cooldown. And now it's going to be a 4-second cooldown if I hit that, which I think is just generally a good change. Right now there's a bug in the game. I don't know if they're going to fix it for the patch, but let's say I do like a freestyle, like this is the worst bug I've ever seen, bro. Like this happens. This is a 6-second cooldown. This is like actually like really bad. If I hit a Lowy here, oh, I actually missed a Lowy. But like if I miss a Lowy, It goes to 2 seconds. So basically, like, the whole disadvantage of doing freestyle is a 6-second cooldown, and now it's only a 2-second cooldown. Like, okay, sure. At least it's guaranteed to be a minimum of 4 second if they didn't fix the bug, which it should be 6 second, right? And it feels like hitting assist actually has value, like, because right now the main reason you hit assist is so that they can't spawn in, right? And now there's like actually a benefit, right? Instead of like, okay, I tacked a little damage on, but now you get your assist back right away. This way, like, at least you're out for longer, and I can like press my neutral advantage, which is really nice. It says champions peace out if they get hit when they KO. I don't know. We have to wait to see that one. Obviously, like, happy birthdays are a little tricky in this game, and if this fixes happy birthdays, A+, we'll see. All 8 frame jabs are now 7 frame, so this is pretty good. Obviously, being able to mash out a little bit faster. I don't know if this applies to like crouch jabs as well. Like, crouch short is 8 frames, now it's gonna be 7. 6 frame jabs are obviously superior. So for example, in like this situation, like let's say I call Yasuo and like I just tag, I can, if like a character with a 7 frame jab tries to contest this, they just die, right? Because my 6 frame jab is Yasuo beats your 7 frame jab. So it's not like a huge change, but it's still I think it's still in the right direction, right? All right, so character changes: Echo, Yasuo, Ahri, and Teemo. Echo, Yasuo, and Ahri continue to be overrepresented in the tournament meta. We have 1 targeted nerf each that we expect will bring down their power. Echo can no longer teleport out of grab recovery, so I think this affects the burrito OS. So yeah, you can. I guess the short's gonna become. But basically, the way this works is you do a throw, and then you rewind cancel the throw in order to beat the wake up attack. Now you have to do the kebab OS instead, which is like just as good. I think it's the nothing burger change. I think his Yasuo is also pretty nothing burger change. I think the not being able to charge S2 on tag out's probably a bigger change than the stand medium and down medium having like a little bit more rift recovery. Ahri throwing the air fireball no longer refreshes their air dash. I think that's like honestly a bigger change. Yeah, I do agree. Yasuo too. Like, obviously, like, having more recovery is like pretty significant, but like, we don't know how much it's gonna be. I think this is a little bit worse. I mean, we'll see. It's obviously a big change, right? But, well, babe, all chat say I'm in trouble. Look at this. He said, look, everyone's like, you're cooked. You're getting ganked by the wave. You got called by the gamer tag. Everyone's saying I got caught. Waifu home disassemble. Getting called by the gamer tag is crazy. All right, we're going to take a 3-minute intermission for YouTube. Okay. Okay, before that interruption. Yeah, the point of this is I don't think these are big changes. They are impactful, but I don't think they're like tier defining. I think anything the Teemo changes to like the charged fireballs are probably more impactful than some of this other stuff, but I mean we'll see. Like, this could impact a lot of damage. We don't know what the additional requirements for badges, right? Is it a little small change? Is it a big change? Is it a small nerf to S1 super, or is it a big nerf? We don't know, but I think that the charged link shot change seems really impactful for Teemo, right? I think this says it all. Hikari, probably the most winningest person in 2xKO right now, says this patch looks very interesting. That's what I would say too if I was a Yasuo Echo player, because it looks like Kari Kari's gonna be winning some more tournaments with Echo Yasuo, because they don't seem to be that much change. That's the general vibe I get. Anyways, we also have some buffs. So I think the idea is they're probably trying to nerf these characters a little bit, buff these characters a little bit, and like try to condense the tier list and like keep doing it until things seem somewhat fair. I think that's the general kind of vibe, right? Blitzcrank hurt boxes and normals are significantly improved. It sounds like it's more disjointed, so therefore a win trades and that sort of thing. Braum keeps unbreakable when performing S2 super while unbreakable. I'm not sure how good that is, because like I feel like the best Braums, they just route differently anyways to like prevent S2 super losing unbreakable. But I think that's a good quality of life for bad Braums. Also, enhanced back assist seems really good. I actually did get to try this because I was like messing around with Braum when I played the patch for a couple hours, and he literally like spawns. Actually, I don't want to gaslight you people, but basically it's exactly what this says, is like he does walk forward when he does the back assist, which is like really cool. Darius is now able to charge apprehend. It's as broken as it sounds. It just baits parry, so there's like an actual mind game. I'm been thinking through this in my head. Like you could probably jump, and that's like it'll beat both regular apprehend and charge apprehend. But this seems like so cheap in my head. It seems so cheap in my head. Jinx back S1 is now significantly better on hit with increased hit stun and now launches grounded opponents. Yeah, I mean that move was like useless, right? Like let's keep it real. This is Jinx S1. How often do you guys see this move? I mean like almost never. Now it's gonna be at least useful. I think it was a good like fuck it throw out move before, but now I think you actually get a combo after, which is really nice, right? It sounds like you use a mid combo too. I mean, this is like basically never used, so I think it's. I actually really like the direction of games taking really underused moves and like buffing them as opposed to like just enhancing the character strengths or like making them more well-rounded. So I think this is a W change. How good it's actually going to be, I'm not sure, because you still have this and other tools that you want to use, right? Lowy sounds like they adjust their combo damage a little bit. Sounds like a pretty nothing burger change. Vi, we talked about the change already. Seems cool, but whatever. Warwick's able to combo opponents easier. SD Rekka Super is much more consistent. It sounds like they just made him easier to play, but it's not really gonna affect high level, which is a pretty good thing to do. I actually, when I was learning Warwick, I would drop SD Rekka in the Super. It was just kind of annoying, so I guess it's kind of nice they made it easier. Also, this is funny. He'll feel more natural to play at beginner and intermediate and advanced levels. So that's like every level. Okay. And the summary, basically, this says there's a lot of patch notes, but a lot of them are bug fixes and like a lot of things that aren't in here, right? So full patch notes are on January 19th. I think overall about this change, everything's in the right direction, right? You're nerfing the characters that people perceive as the best. You're buffing characters that people perceive as the worst. Is it enough? I suspect we're gonna see at least 5 Echoes in top 8 of Frosties. I don't think things are gonna change much, but I mean, again, there could be more on the way, right? This is kind of this is what Riot thinks is the most important. There could be other stuff that maybe is potentially more important, right? I'm not really sure. But I suspect the meta's not going to change too much, but it's taking it in the right direction. I think Caitlyn's also probably going to... I think the system changes and the Caitlyn coming to the game is probably going to impact the meta more, right? So if Caitlyn's really strong, then people... like, does Caitlyn have a good matchup in the Yasuo, right? Maybe not because of wind wall, but maybe Caitlyn... Maybe Echo can't get on Caitlyn, so therefore Echo becomes less popular, right? General feeling is the projectile change is going to matter a lot. I think Teemo is going to go down a tier. I think you could argue right now that like Teemo's in the same tier as Ahri, Yasuo, and Echo. Now I think Teemo's probably like Vi tier, if I had to guess, right? Yeah, Time Winder going away on hit is good. I think, yeah, that is a pretty big change. I will say, I don't think it happens that often though, that you hit them and then the Time Wander hits, but it probably happens enough. The thing is, if it happens just once, like a set, that can literally change the whole set, right? So I think that is pretty big, because I have seen I've seen some situations where like they trade hits and then like the Echo still, like the opponent's still in Time Winder, and then you like Echo recovers and still able to combo. I don't know if that will still happen, right? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I feel like the most common trade I saw was slingshot trade, and like maybe stuff like 2x Jinx. So for example, like I'm throwing like Jinx rocket, you parry the first rocket, you hit the opponent, and then you just get hit by the second rocket. So I think it does impact. It probably impacts Jinx, Teemo, maybe Echo, Yasuo the most. I'm not really sure. Oh, that's true. JS1's not a. I didn't even think about that. I mean. Like, so for example, that's actually a really good point. So right now, that's not a counter hit, right? So if like what does Alawi get if you do this? Now like I could like do big boy damage, right? Because like if I force the counter hit, that's what it'll look like after the change. Like I get a lot more damage, right? That's actually really nice for Vi specifically. This is a huge buff for Vi. I feel like Vi benefits from the system changes more than any other character. Am I tripping? Like Vi had such a hard time dealing with this. Well, I mean, I guess you could always do like that and like go under. But like, let's say I just try to snipe you out of the air and now I just get a full combo, right? That's kind of nice, actually. All right, any other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns? Good patch, good patch. What do you guys think? Rate this patch out of 1 through 10. What do y'all think? Does it go nearly far enough? 3 out of 10, 7 out of 10? Ari change hurts your soul. Is it really that bad? I feel like I definitely feel that more than the Echo change and the Yas change, but needs in the real Echo. I do think Echo or Yas is probably almost certainly the best character, right? I mean, you could still do like, you can still do this, like this is still allowed. I guess it's the fact that you just can't air dash again, right? Should have been more at the top. I agree. I mean, like, I don't know. The thing is, I think you don't want to keep nerfing Yasuo and Echo. I'd rather just have other characters have like cool new tools that make them strong. Like, for example, the Ari change. I don't know if I'm a big fan of the Ari change, to be honest. And like, maybe she kind of needed to compete with Echo Yas. I'm not really sure. I guess it depends on what else has changed. But like, for example, like, I think like a character like Alawi, I think you could have buffed her a little bit, right? Just to kind of maintain parity with Echo and Yas, where I kind of get the vibe that like Alawi's not really getting buffs or nerfs. She's just kind of staying the same. And I'm not really sure. Like, I think these system changes are pretty big. I think they're probably going to impact things. But the thing is, I think Echo and Yasuo are so broke that like, I don't think it matters what the system changes are for them. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see the notes, but they're probably just not done yet. If I had to guess. It does take a while. Like, it sounds like there's like a really, really long list of notes. So they're probably just taking their good time. Yeah, she can still do this. She just can't do 2 dashes. Yeah, I mean, I think it's clear saying that like they want to nerf Echo Yasuo, but I think they're just afraid to like commit too hard, right? I think I was interviewing one of the Riot devs, and they're like, "Oh, we don't want to like change. We don't want to like nerf too much before Frosty, right? Because like imagine like Brahm's the best character and Echo's the worst, and like everyone that bought flights to Frosty is gonna be like pissed." I can kind of see that argument. I mean, I think the important thing for me is like, is it going the right direction? And it is. So like, I think that mostly that's pretty good. And then like shake it up in the mid-season. Yeah, we'll see. I am worried that like like Frosty's just gonna be a fucking Yasuo Echo Fest, and it's not gonna be as hype as it could be. I do think meta shakeups are like more fun for spectators in general, right? Bro, imagine Super Noob's Twitter if like the one line here said something like, "We removed Echo's ability to rewind." Like, bro, Super Noob would be having a generational crash out. It would actually be insane, bro. Yeah, I feel like if you took Echo's this air dash from Echo's like fucking broke, bro. And I feel like I try to anti it and like this still hits. Like, I feel like this just wins too often. Like, can we like nerf this hitbox, bro? It doesn't even look like he's hitting. It looks like, I swear there's like a phantom hitbox, bro. Like, look at that shit. Why is this shit so good? Nerf this, bro. Like, usually moves have the issue where like the move phases through their body. This, like, I swear the leg extends to like just hit him from like nowhere, bro. I don't understand. I think he should keep it. I have no issue characters having strong and differentiated tools. I think that's cool. I think that's what makes the game fun. But I don't think this should be hitting me from like half screen, bro. Like it just hits so far. That's like insane for a cross that you can do from an air dash. And that way it's like you have to be a little bit more precise with it, which increases the skill cap. I think that's a good thing. Again, I'll reserve full judgment until I see the rest of the patch notes. But anyways, yeah, we call it there. Thanks for watching, YouTube, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. 7 out of 10 patch. I kind of agree. In the right direction. Definitely would rather have this game patched than not. But I did want a little bit more too. Maybe we'll get a little bit more in the patch notes. All right, take care, y'all. Peace.